Hey, it's Erika, welcome to my first listen for Kai's Wait On Me 4th mini album. So in this video, I'm not checking out any of the tracks that were pre-released or the title tracks, so we're not checking out Wait On Me, Walls Don't Talk, or Adult Swim, but oh, are they bangers. We're just gonna deeper dive into those B-sides like Pressure, Ridin, Off and Away, and Flight to Paris. I wish I could go to Paris, but maybe Kai will take me there. Shoot! But yeah, I'm excited to be checking the album out. I do color-coded lyric videos for this. Find it to be the best solution for you for me to follow on together in real time, but I don't make these, so if they're wrong, girl, it ain't me. But yeah, so the first track, Wait On Me, I feel like it's a classic Kai type of vibe, you know what I mean? It's not like I feel like a lot of the promotions were giving like summer comeback. I mean, Wait On Me got the vibes, right? So like it does have that in a way, but it ain't like Walls Don't Talk or like Adult Swim, that more kind of very much summery vibe there. So that definitely seems to be what was mainly kind of promoted for the comeback. So diving into the B-sides, we'll see if it's more kind of signature Kai vibe or if it's kind of a little bit more of a summery Kai vibe, you know what I mean? So that's what we're here to dive into. So Walls Don't Talk, so far that's been my favorite one that I've heard so far. Between like Adult Swim and Wait On Me, it's tough competition, you know what I mean? But Walls Don't Talk just hit me in my soul differently. So yeah, so the first one we're gonna be checking out is Pressure. I'm excited to sort of see what he's doing. It seems like he's gonna have a killer water bomb set. You know, I don't know if he's doing it again, but when they ask him back, you know, it's gonna be crazy. What we do need for them is to drop Spoiler. That's what I've been waiting years for them to drop Spoiler, girl. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. I believe it's Spoiler. That's the name of the track that's unreleased. Anyways, Pressure, let's go. He going for the vibes though. Hey, Kai, let's go. Oh no, he keeping it low key. I was ready to get down. Woo! It's for the best.
어딘지도 모른 채 환상에 살겠어 자유로운 꿈 안에 Pressure 내 전부를 채워
Nah, he keep it low key. I want to get down, Kai. Nah, we can still get down though. Hey, it's just like low key though. All right.
너로 만든 꿈 안에 Pressure 내 전부를 채워 숨 막히듯 세게 꼭 못 보낼 Pressure.
Yeah, imagine the choreo to this one. Wow!
몸에 널 채워 부서지듯 세게 꼭 못 보낼 Pressure. Pressure Come give me that pressure.
I'll give him whatever he asking for, girl. Personally, that's me. All right, I liked it. It seems like this vibe is definitely the vibe he's going for recently. I mean, especially after Rover, you know what I mean? Like how much people love that, but also like I love how much he's including it like truly within like this whole comeback. It does have me worried though. Like I'm like, is this just like a comeback thing, or can we like include this into more of his like discography going forward? You know what I mean? Girl, just don't leave me like EXO left me with Shimmy Shimmy Cocoa Pop, you know? But I really like that vibe. Again, it's much more like low-key. I was waiting for the drop for me to get down though, but it's probably for the best that that did not happen. But I really like Pressure. It's definitely kind of like the vibe. It goes from Wait on Me while I'm talking Pressure, so you definitely get the vibe you're getting. But sometimes SM with their solo albums, they sort of like, maybe the first few tracks will have the same vibe and then they sort of switch it up a little bit. But I don't know, because if the vibe kind of fits Adult Swim too as well, so we'll definitely figure out where we're going next. We're going Ridin next? We're going Ridin next, Kai. Okay, I mean, the concepts, man, what do you expect from this? Like, I don't, look, what do you expect from him? I expect this from him, you know what I mean? So, yes, let's go ahead and get Ridin. Ooh. Oh. Yo, you gotta let me live though too, Kai. Talk about some drugs. Yeah, what a banger. Now I kind of want to see choreography to this one. This definitely seems much more of a performance-driven track. It's like awaken things in my body. Like, it'd be so interesting. Like, obviously, like, some a little bit kind of more like Afro-inspired choreography be sick. But we kind of got a little bit of that to Wait on Me, you know? But I could use some more. I could use some more. He always really, with every mini album he's given, he always has like a much more kind of performance driven B-side, you know what I mean? Like, I think on the last one it was like Bomba. Let me look for the evidence. Yeah, so I think on the last one, yeah, I would say like Bomba would be that one. What about on Peaches? Domino maybe? Yeah, Domino. And then for the Deblois, it was Reason. You know, why is that not in my what? Why is that not in my like driving playlist? Because I need that in my life, okay? But I really like that. I like Ridin. It kind of like a really interesting vibe. Obviously, you definitely like know what they were kind of doing with this comeback, with this album, introducing like the type of genres that they are, you know what I mean? Maybe a little bit like Afro, maybe a little bit like a Latin vibe in some of them, you know what I mean? So I think it's really cool to hear, like, just kind of like getting like an album kind of a little bit more structured around that, you know what I mean? But yeah, for sure. I like it. I'm kind of feeling it though, and I feel like this performance would go crazy. I mean, I feel like it would just, I mean, it's just crazy in general, you know what I mean? But like, it's the much more kind of performance driven track is very interesting. And I would say like normally he has like the more like R&B element to, I feel like his album's a little bit more heavy here, but he's doing a little bit something different here, you know what I mean? So I don't know if we're getting that more kind of R&B vibe with the rest of the B-sides there, but let's get off and away. But yeah, you definitely kind of like getting the vibe for the album. I think it's very interesting. I like the sound, you know what I mean? But Yeah, they would do it with Kai, is all I'll say, girl. It's just what I'll say. Off and away, let's go. No, we're sticking with it, though. Okay.
산산조각난 현실 너의 흔적을 찾아 헤매 붙잡을 새도 없이 다시 지켜져 날카롭게 Let the keep on my pain 고통마저도
Well, this has a slightly more Kai vibe.
Every time I knew that 비극 속에서 끝날 엔딩 멈춰야만 한단 걸 알면서 원하고 나조차 몰랐던 나를 보내 마지막이라면 더 멀리 떠나줘
Let's build it up.
널 찾아낼 수도 없게 Off and away
Ooh.
잡을 수 없게
Okay. I like want to see performances for every single one. Because I'm much more curious on how they'd be structured. Because, like, especially with Kai's kind of signature style choreography and incorporating, like, some more, like, newer styles for him. I'm very, very curious on how that would look.
망치고 나지 헛된 꿈인 걸 알지 눈을 감아도 다시 벗어날 수 없겠지 되돌릴 수 없단 걸 알면서 붙잡고 또다시 무너진 날 마주해 사랑이 아니면 더 멀리 도망가
But I would say so far it's very different than his other albums. Because it'd be like, you get like the title track and again the performance-driven track, and the rest would kind of be more R&B. So it's interesting that everything's much more upbeat driven and much more heavier Afro sounds. You know what I mean? Afro beats.
Right now I'm so broken I'll fade away 내 세상이 전부 사라지게 Right now I'm so broken I'll fade away
I mean, they're good. It's good music.
영영 추락하게 Off and away But I won't forget Go far away
But he did it. He is going on tour though.
끝낼 수 있게 Off and away But I won't forget Go far away 끝낼 수 있게 놓칠 수 있게
Yeah, that just mainly seems to be like what's driving the sound of the album, which I will say it is very interesting to see kind of like the variety that you are getting in terms of instead of it just being like, I don't know, just like basic kind of like Afrobeat type of vibe, you know what I mean? Kind of like diving in and kind of giving us like a variety of that genre. I feel like it's really cool and is really, really dope. I'm liking it. I'm liking the music side of it. You know what I mean? But yeah, so I really, yeah, Off and Away. Yeah, that's just like very yeah, it's just, I mean, yeah, and it's just kind of like going within like the element. So like the promotional tracks I would say are like very different sounding than like the rest of the B-sides, you know what I mean? But I feel like the promotional ones are the more like Adult Swim, very Kai driven type of track, you know what I mean? And then Walls Don't Talk, very interesting vibe, and then Wait On Me, versus kind of like you go into the rest of the album, it's a little bit more deeper dive into those. From like in a mainstream promotional sense, the B-sides that they chose to promote and the title track definitely makes sense, you know what I mean? Because if you don't like the vibe, then you're not gonna like it, you know what I mean? So I definitely sort of like makes sense there, but like I wasn't necessarily expecting the rest of the album to sort of have that vibe. But yeah, I mean, it's so far it's really good. I really like it. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive on into what's the last song Flight to Paris. It's not good. That'd be, if I'm going to, I don't, well, if it's another Afrobeat song, like, to Paris? That's not necessarily what I think of, but it might be now. Shoot, let's get Flight to Paris. I know this is more of what we got, but like Kai vibe, like that was given to us before. Okay, they gave us one song. Just like, give me the first flight to Paris, like they say in the movies. But still kind of has like the vibe to fit the rest of the album. Okay. I'm vibing. I'm vibing. I'm reading other people's reviews because I'm curious. Well, even this one's even more upbeat, and it's definitely the most. This one and I feel like Adult Swim are kind of the most familiar sounding. A little bit of like Wait on Me, but I feel like it was just like the melody and the song structure was very close to Rover. You know what I mean? But it's very interesting to get like this type of album, especially from Kai, because it's definitely not the vibe of any of his other albums. They're not like this beat. Again, it's very much more R&B driven, and you can definitely kind of get that with like, you look at his promotional tracks like and Peaches, you know what I mean? That kind of like sort of vibe if you're much more casual, haven't gone like deeper into the B-sides, you know what I mean? Which I love his R&B songs. Like, sometimes it depends on my day which one's my favorite, you know what I mean? But like, to be honest, banger. That's one of my favorite Kai tracks ever, you know what I mean? Amnesia, Nothing on Me, Girl, Hello Stranger, like it's all good stuff, you know what I mean? Or Vanilla, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's a very sort of Kai vibe. So getting this album, it's so different sounding, you know what I mean? And I was kind of looking at the Reddit threads, I'm like, what are the people saying, you know what I mean? And some of them, like, I think if like, that's the thing though, like, I don't, like, it depends though. Like, if you're not really into like Afrobeats or anything, I feel like the album probably ain't for you. You could probably get away with like Wait on Me or like Wall Zone Talk, maybe even a little bit of some Take Me to Paris type of vibe. Where I was vibing. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the lyrics that bad, but it was just like that impulsive decision where you're just like, when you go to the airport, you're just like, give me the first flight to Paris, here's my passport, bam, you know what I mean? And then I'm just like, is that how visas work these days? I don't think so. But that sort of vibe. So, I mean, lyric and concept-wise, yeah, it's very Kai, but like, I feel like, I don't know, Rover was just like a little bit more accessible for a lot of listeners versus I feel like, and again, the promotional tracks were definitely the much more accessible to fans while giving a little bit of vibe of what the album is, you know what I mean? But for sure, I don't know if the songs are for everybody. They're for me. Girl, I like it. I like me some Afro beats. I could get down. But yeah, the album seems, I wouldn't say like necessarily much more performance driven, but a lot more upbeat than I feel like a lot of his other tracks are. And then if you did like Flight to Paris, that's definitely much, it's not exactly the vibe. There is still that kind of influence within the track itself. And you haven't checked out his other B-sides, it's kind of much more, I feel like that sort of vibe. So it's very, very interesting. It's very fascinating to me that they sort of went with this for like a full album concept. You know what I mean? I'm very intrigued with it. You know what I mean? And I know I like it. I like the vibes. I be like, and even like what we've seen from like the choreography, incorporating, you know, like Afro style into that influence into the choreography just makes sense. You know what I mean? And would just make sense for like the rest of it. So I'd be much more interested to see those performances. I kind of liked what he was serving, what we saw so far from Wait On Me. Haven't seen a dance practice or a choreography music video, so can't necessarily say it too particularly. But like I kind of like that vibe, and Kai would definitely be the artist to kind of like do that sort of dance style, that sort of like influence in there. And I guess like how they've always showcased Kai within EXO and stuff, and within SM Entertainment, it makes sense why they would pick Kai as their artist to do this sort of concept. You know what I mean? But like Irene killed that shit with Like a Flower, both in the track and the choreography. The track being Afro beats, and then also her kind of doing Afro style in the choreography. So yeah, but I do hope, like, because it's so packed with that type of concept here, that I hope that is kind of something that is incorporated in the future, not just like a one-off sort of vibe. You know what I mean? I would say like it's definitely not something I was predicting or expecting to come off out of the album. I was thinking like summery vibes. So you know what, like if before it was like K-pop summer concept was just like Latin music driven, maybe now it's gonna be more Afro beats driven. You know what I mean? Or at least maybe that's what we're getting for the summer. I don't know. I mean, sort of like Afrobeats is definitely being included in just K-pop in general, but more specifically B-sides. So it'll be definitely very interesting to see, and maybe it can be your introduction to Afrobeats, and then you can just be like, I like this vibe. What's this genre? And you're like, oh, it's Afrobeats, and then head to the Spotify playlist and learn for yourself, girl. But yeah, I think it's a good album. It's definitely like, it's so different from anything Kai has like, so I'm in a little bit of like a shock being like, oh, this is what the album is. So it's very different from like Kai's normal, I would say, album structure, his normal sound. Again, it's much more R&B driven, I feel like, with a couple performance driven types of tracks in there. But for this one, it's very different. So I'm like, okay, Kai, I see you, I hear you, and I like it and stuff, but I like it. I don't know how most people are gonna feel about it, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's a great album so far. I mean, it's definitely something like, again, it's just like something so new for him that I'm just like, okay, is this sort of like new era of Kai? Like, is this what we're doing? You know what I mean? Because I feel like there was such familiarity with this first 3 mini albums, and then this would kind of just like goes crazy, and I'm just like, wow. But yeah, I think it's a great album. It's so interesting that SM would like, well, I guess it makes sense, right? Because Utah's solo album was whole like a completely metal driven track, you know what I mean? And I feel like you do get like R&B albums out of like all the soloists and the artists, so it isn't so crazy that like you go more genre specific with just like an artist. But I think it's maybe the genre that's a little bit kind of just like, oh, they did that. So yeah, it's very interesting. But I see you, Kai, I see what you're doing. Added some flavor to the genres. But yeah, no, I really like that. My favorite, still love Wild Stone Talk, girl. You can't get that out of my head. I love Adult Swim. Wait On Me is good. I like Pressure. I like Ridin a lot too as well. And I often always a vibe too as well. And then Flight to Paris is I like that too as well. I like the sort of fusion, a little bit more the R&B with a little bit more like the Afrobeat sort of influence in there. So I like that. I think that was very, very cool. Off and Away is really good. But Off and Away would be my least favorite out of there, but favorite still as well. But yeah, okay, Kai, you're gonna get me vibing, gonna get my body moving for the rest of the year probably, and for the future. I mean, he always does with his music, but like I can feel it out a little bit more, you know. But yeah, go for your thoughts and comments down below to that about Kai's Wait On Me for 4th mini album. If you like this video, give this video a thumbs up if you liked me and you want to see more of my videos. Go and hit that subscribe button. Want to see my videos the second they come out. Hit that notification button. Want to follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, or description down below. Or at the end screen if you like gaming content. I have a gaming channel. It's called Erika. Currently playing Assassin's Creed Shadows, so if you can join me over there for that. Thank you so much for watching. Love you and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
느껴져 모든 게 수많은 사람들 속 우리만 아는 sense I hope the words don't talk 아무도 모르게 coherent counter shots 방해받지 않게 Let's up the world